Imagine being the most powerful man in the world and yet maintaining humility and purpose above all else. Marcus Aurelius, the great Roman emperor, not only ruled an empire but also left a legacy of timeless wisdom. Unlike many of his predecessors, he did not indulge in the fleeting pleasures of imperial life, wine, parties, and the brutal games of the Colosseum. Instead, he had a higher mission: to serve humanity. But to achieve this noble purpose, he knew he needed to detach himself from distractions that did not contribute to his goal. One of Stoicism's most powerful lessons is the distinction between what we control and what we do not. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, expressed this brilliantly. Much of life, except our own actions and reactions, is beyond our control. It's not about renouncing the world, but being realistic about what we can influence. How often do we hurt ourselves by worrying too much about what is beyond our reach, letting those things control us like puppets? Marcus Aurelius bequeathed to us not only an empire, but also a legacy of wisdom through his reflections. He understood that true virtue lies in focusing on what truly matters. Instead of worrying about others' opinions or ephemeral pleasures, he pursued personal excellence and service to others. These teachings are universal and applicable to all of us. We live in a world where we are constantly bombarded by things we cannot control, from social media to others' expectations. Stoicism teaches us not to be indifferent, but to be realistic and practical, detaching ourselves from these distractions and focusing on what truly matters. Embracing the Stoic mindset empowers us to live more fully and meaningfully. Imagine waking up every day and consciously choosing to focus on what you can control: your actions, your reactions, your attitude. That is powerful. And it is within reach for all of us. The journey to a virtuous life begins with a simple step: recognizing what is under our control and what is not. Marcus Aurelius lived this truth and demonstrated that even in the highest positions, it is possible to live with purpose and integrity. Are you ready to take control of your life and focus on what truly matters? If so, the time to start is now. And let's go to the first lesson. But first, just make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because the upcoming videos will be a series of Stoic content that will help you find balance, wisdom, and serenity in a world full of challenges. How many times have you found yourself trapped, like a puppet, manipulated by circumstances? What if I told you that true freedom is within your reach? Imagine cutting those invisible strings and ceasing to worry about what is beyond your control. Does that sound liberating to you? Marcus Aurelius, the great emperor and Stoic philosopher, had a powerful key to tranquility. He did not disturb himself with what he could not control. He faced enormous responsibilities and daily challenges, but by focusing only on the task he believed had been given by the gods, he found peace. And you? What happens when you decide to stop caring about what is beyond your domain? For Epictetus, another wise Stoic, this attitude meant freedom. Imagine yourself free, unaffected by external forces that insist on shaping your days. And what if you used this freedom to focus on goals that truly matter? What would those goals be? What are the things that truly deserve your attention and energy? When life hurts, we often occupy ourselves with things that, deep down, don't deserve our concern. Take a moment and reflect. What in your life is truly worthwhile? Explore Marcus Aurelius's ideas about caring less about what doesn't deserve our worry. Seneca, another giant of Stoic philosophy, used to say, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." The future is a constant source of anxiety. We think of endless scenarios of what could happen, but most of these worries never materialize. How often have you caught yourself imagining disasters that never occurred? Our minds run wild, creating unreal scenarios, and we end up suffering in advance. Have you spent years preparing for something that didn't happen as planned? Perhaps a peaceful retirement that never arrived? Destiny is full of surprises, often better or worse than we imagine. Therefore, excessively worrying about the future is an exercise in useless suffering. Marcus Aurelius taught us to differentiate between the present, the past, and the future. He warned us not to care too much about what is beyond our control. Focus on the now, on the task at hand, and free yourself from the burden of future worries. For many, ignoring what cannot be controlled is a path to a happy and carefree life. Imagine waking up every day without the weight of concerns about what may or may not happen. Focus on your goals, your dreams, and let destiny take its course. Adopting this Stoic perspective can transform your life. It's not easy, but it is powerful. Think of Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca. They left us a legacy of wisdom that spans centuries. Now, it's up to you to apply these lessons and live a lighter and more fulfilling life. How many times have you spent years preparing for something grand, like a peaceful retirement, only to have everything change before you can even enjoy that moment? Imagine receiving a cancer diagnosis that gives you only a few months to live. The possibility of such events makes us constantly worry. What if World War III starts? What if I lose all my money? These negative thoughts haunt us, but should we really worry about them in advance? The future only exists in our thoughts. While these events do not happen in the present, we cannot deal with them because they simply do not exist outside of our minds. So why do we let the future bother us so much? If you're facing a difficult situation, like a terminal diagnosis, what stops you from living today and enjoying every second of your precious life? Stand up, lift your head, put on your best clothes, and go live moments that will be remembered by yourself even after death. Marcus Aurelius wrote that it is not the weight of the future that presses upon us, but that of the present. It is not the future that hurts us, but how we deal with it in the present. The misery of the future happens in the present. Ironically, when we care too much about future events, life begins to hurt, as we suffer in our imagination, letting these thoughts dictate our present. So what did Marcus Aurelius say about worrying too much about the future? He advises us, never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present. He pointed out that if he could handle the present, he could also handle the future. He encouraged us not to imagine all the terrible things that could happen, but to deal with the situation we are experiencing now. When he focused on the present, he realized he could endure it, and if that were the case, why wouldn't he be able to handle what is still to come? This attitude resembles the concept of amor fati, the love of fate, but strengthened with the confidence that we are capable of getting through it. Looking back, Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that all the events he feared had already happened in one way or another, and he had survived them all. So why should the future be any different? It's important to remember that life is unpredictable and full of surprises. The future may surprise us with events we could never have predicted, whether for better or worse. Therefore, excessively worrying about the future is an exercise in useless suffering. Instead, we should focus on the present, on the tasks and moments that are before us right now. Let's talk about amor fati. Imagine for a moment that every event in your life is not just a random occurrence, but an essential part of a grand plan shaping who you are and who you are destined to become. This is what ancient Stoic philosophers called amor fati, the love for fate. It's not merely about passively accepting what happens, but embracing everything with passion and acceptance. How often do we find ourselves struggling with life's challenges, wishing things were different? But the true power of amor fati lies in transforming that struggle into acceptance and, in acceptance, finding not just resignation but true inner peace and strength. When we look back on our lives, it's easy to see moments of happiness and success as peaks, while moments of pain and loss seem like lows. However, amor fati teaches us to see each of these moments as integral parts of a larger whole. Every challenge faced, every loss suffered, contributes to our journey of growth and self-discovery. Imagine yourself walking through a dense forest. Every step, whether over rough stones or among trees, is an essential part of the journey that moves you forward. Just like in life, each step shapes our journey, and Amor Fati invites us to embrace each part of this path with gratitude and courage. It's not just about accepting fate, but finding beauty and purpose in every twist of the path. It's finding peace in understanding that we cannot control all external circumstances, but we can choose how to respond to them. It is in this space of choice that true freedom resides. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic masters, once said, "Do not expect events to happen as you wish them to happen as they do." This is the essence of Amor Fati, to wish for what happens, not because it's easy, but because it challenges us to grow, to evolve, to become more than we were yesterday. So, let us embrace Amor Fati not just as a philosophy, but as a daily practice. May we find joy in the journey, even when the winds blow against us. May we learn to love not only what is easy and pleasant, but also what is difficult and challenging. For it is in this love for fate that we find not only acceptance, but a profound connection with life in all its complexity. May Amor Fati be not just an idea, but a compass guiding our steps through storms and sunny days, reminding us that every moment is a gift, even when disguised as a challenge. If you've made it this far, please look at the first pinned comment and leave a like to show that you're truly seeking change. Life is a fleeting journey, where the present is all that we truly possess. Marcus Aurelius wisely reminds us that man lives only in the now, in this moment that swiftly slips through our fingers. The past, an inaccessible territory we cannot change, and the future, an uncertain domain beyond our influence, remind us of the transience and fragility of human existence. It's easy to get lost in the corridors of the past, reliving painful moments or wishing we could alter what has already passed. However, Marcus Aurelius warns us that the past, though full of lessons, cannot be manipulated. Our memories are imperfect, our perspectives limited. What matters, then, are not the events themselves, but how we react to them. We can choose how we position ourselves in relation to the past. Instead of clinging to regrets or illusory desires for change, we can focus on our present response to these experiences. Adversity may have marked our path, difficult childhoods, lost friendships, failed ventures, but it's our current choices that define our journey. Marcus Aurelius teaches that true wisdom lies in accepting what has been and focusing our efforts on what we can control, our actions in the present. Rather than lamenting what cannot be changed, we can learn, grow, and find meaning in the experiences that have shaped our path thus far. After all, it is in the present that we build our future, moment by moment, choice by choice. Thus, each instant is an opportunity to cultivate inner serenity and the strength to face whatever comes. By accepting the past as part of our journey and embracing the present with wisdom and gratitude, we can find true power in Marcus Aurelius's philosophy, to live fully in the now, while navigating the uncertain waters of time. Moreover, by focusing on the present, we not only strengthen our resilience, but also enhance our ability to appreciate life's small joys. Enjoying a sunset, savoring a good meal, or simply sharing a moment of connection with others, these are the true riches the present offers us, if we are willing to see them. Therefore, as we reflect on Marcus Aurelius's words, we can find a compass to navigate the waters of existence. To focus on the here and now, cultivating a mindset that allows us to face the past with acceptance and the future with hope. Ultimately, it is through this practice that we can not only survive, but truly thrive on our journey through life. Life is an endless succession of events, where the present is our only true domain. Marcus Aurelius teaches us profoundly that what happens is not misfortune in itself, but rather how we react to these events that determines our true fortune. The ability to remain unscathed, undisturbed by the present and unafraid of the future, is a true testament to our inner strength. We can look back to the past, not as a burden of inevitable misfortunes, but as a continuous rhythm of lessons that allow us to extract wisdom for the future. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that by observing how things come and go, we can discern patterns and foresee possibilities, without overly clinging to what has already passed. The present moment, according to Marcus Aurelius, is the only terrain where we can truly operate. It is a narrow field, surrounded by the infinite abyss of the past and the impenetrable darkness of the future. Focusing on the now does not mean completely ignoring the past or the future, but rather choosing where to invest our energies and attention, in the present moment, where we can act and shape our destiny. It is tempting to worry about what is happening right now, but Marcus Aurelius warns us not to concern ourselves with things that do not deserve our anxiety. Focusing on matters beyond our control only distances us from the serenity and personal fulfillment we can find by concentrating our efforts on what truly matters. Cultivating virtues such as justice, generosity, self-control, and humility. Accepting the present as a field of action and learning empowers us to live with integrity and wisdom. It is in this moment that we can manifest our true nature and contribute to a better world, aligning our actions with timeless values that transcend time. Furthermore, by fully living in the present, we cultivate a deep connection with the world around us. Appreciating the small wonders of life, a sincere smile, the beauty of nature, compassion in action, makes us more aware and grateful for what we have. This attitude of gratitude not only strengthens our bonds with others, but also connects us with the universal flow of existence, where each moment is an opportunity for growth and understanding. Ultimately, by embracing the impermanence of life and focusing our attention on the present, we find not only inner peace, but also the courage to face the challenges that arise in our path. Marcus Aurelius invites us to live with purpose and meaning, guided by the wisdom that it is in the now that we can truly shape our destiny and positively influence the world around us. Sometimes, we find ourselves dissatisfied with the course of life, disturbed when things don't go as we wish. Marcus Aurelius wisely reminds us that the world around us unfolds independently of our desires. What truly matters is how we react to these events. According to Marcus Aurelius, becoming emotionally disturbed by the present is futile. We cannot control the course of events, whether dealing with natural disasters, human conflicts, or the unpredictabilities of daily life. Struggling against what we are forced to face is like pigs kicking and squealing when being slaughtered. There is no benefit in it, as we cannot change the inevitable. It is a misconception to believe that we can shape the world to our will or ensure that everything happens according to our wishes. We have no control over who attracts us or the opportunities that arise in our lives. Accepting this reality frees us from the constant anguish of longing for what we do not have and lamenting what we cannot avoid. However, the present moment often becomes a chamber of emotional torture. We become frustrated when we don't get what we want and sad when confronted with what we dislike. In this anguish, we lose the ability to appreciate the present without obsessively clinging to it. Marcus Aurelius invites us to find emotional balance even when facing challenges or losses. It is in the present that we can cultivate a serene acceptance of what is, without letting our emotions dictate our well-being. Instead of resisting the inevitable or desperately clinging to what we have, we should learn to flow with the course of life, embracing its ups and downs with calmness and wisdom. By adopting this perspective, we not only find inner peace, but also strengthen our ability to face the future with courage and resilience. Accepting the present as it is, without expecting it to match our desires, liberates us to live authentically and meaningfully. Thus, we learn not to become prisoners of our expectations and fears, following Marcus Aurelius's example. Cultivating a serene mind and an open heart, ready to face each moment with gratitude and acceptance. Instead of being dominated by circumstances, we are empowered to act with wisdom and compassion, finding in every challenge an opportunity for personal and spiritual growth. In this journey of self-discovery and acceptance, we discover that true fortune lies not in controlling the external, but in mastering our own inner world. It is through this journey of understanding and acceptance that we can find lasting peace and contentment, regardless of the changes and challenges that life presents to us. Have you ever stopped to reflect on how we are immersed in the constant flow of nature, where everything is transient and passing? Often, we lose sight of what truly lies within our control. Marcus Aurelius, through his Stoic philosophy, reminds us that our true autonomy resides in the choices we make, the actions we take, and the opinions we form. If we deviate from the law of nature or resent it, we become mere deserters and fugitives from our own essence. Therefore, we should embrace the ways of nature as our master and direct our energy towards dealing with these realities, instead of wasting it on grievances or attachments to circumstances beyond our control. One of Marcus Aurelius's most powerful lessons is the practice of accepting the present as it is. In the 7th book of his Meditations, he urges us to focus our attention on what we already have, rather than consuming ourselves with what is lacking. It is a practical and profound wisdom. Treat what you do not have as non-existent, and deeply value what you already possess. Reflect on the people, achievements, and opportunities that you truly cherish in your life. Imagine how desirous you would be of them if they were not available to you, and be careful not to overestimate them to the point of immense suffering if they are lost. Life often throws lemons, challenges, and difficulties at us that may seem insurmountable. However, for Marcus Aurelius, these moments are not excuses for despair or self-pity. They are, on the contrary, opportunities to apply virtue, to practice philosophy in everyday life. The art of living does not reside in external circumstances, as volatile and transient as they are, but rather in our response to those circumstances. It is here that our true power and responsibility lie. Live your life to the fullest, regardless of the physical, emotional, or financial circumstances you face. Start where you are, with what you have at your disposal. Do not compare yourself to others. Do not worry about what the future holds, or lament the past. Focus on the present, on the opportunities and challenges before you, and simply begin. Remember, motivation may be fleeting, but perseverance is what brings lasting results. Be consistent in your actions and committed to your goals. Change begins with a step, so give your best each day. Thank you for sticking with me this far. If this content resonated with you, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more reflections like this. I'll leave you with 2 related videos that might interest you. Until next time.